All right, welcome to our party 2. Now, are you on page 126 learner's book? All right, now we are going to listen to the track. Please listen to the track very, very careful, and you follow from your book. So I want you to follow from your book, follow clearly and understand it. Let me open my book also. All right, they are together. So let's listen to the track. Are you ready?
Track 65.
The Story of Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan was the biggest baby ever born. He was a good baby, but he was always very hungry. When Paul was hungry, he cried so loudly that the house used to shake and the windows used to break.
Oh.
The frogs in the pond started wearing earplugs.
Really?
For breakfast every day, Paul Bunyan's mom and dad fed him 12 eggs, a loaf of bread, 10 bananas, and 24 pancakes with lots of syrup. Pancakes were Paul's favorite food. Paul grew bigger and bigger. He grew 2 centimeters every day.
2 centimeters every day. Wow. So, even if 2 centimeters every day, what about in a week? How many days do we have in a week? 7 days. So 7 days times 2, that is 14 centimeters. Wow. Let's continue.
By the time Paul was 7, he was taller than the tallest home in his village. His family decided to move north where there would be more room for Paul to grow. "I am sad to leave our little house," said Paul's mom. "Let's take it with us," said Paul. He picked up the house with his mom and dad inside and carried it over the mountains and rivers. Paul went to school, but he was too big to fit inside the school building. He had to lie outside on the grass and watch through the window. After school, the children used to come and play with Paul. But sometimes he felt lonely. "What's the matter?" Paul's mom asked. "I wish I had a friend who was my size," Paul said to his mom. One winter, there was a huge snowstorm. Paul heard something crying outside. He went out in the storm to see who was there. He dug through the snow and found a baby ox. A very big baby ox, just the right size to be Paul's friend. The ox was so cold that it had turned blue. Paul brought the ox inside. He called the ox Babe. Paul and Babe the blue ox became best friends. They loved wrestling together. At night, Paul used to read bedtime stories to Babe. On his 18th birthday, Paul's parents gave him a huge axe for cutting down trees. Paul loved his axe. He could cut down a tree with a single swing of his axe. "I'm gonna be a logger," said Paul. Paul and Babe the blue ox set out for the big forests. They met a group of strong men, and together they became a team of loggers. The men cut down trees with their axes, and Babe dragged the logs to a long, curvy river. The logs floated down the river to the town where they were sold. Paul and the loggers worked so fast that the river filled with logs. The logs got stuck in the curves of the river. Paul hitched Babe to the end of the river. Babe pulled and pulled until the river was straight. The logs became unstuck and floated quickly to the town. All the loggers loved eating. Just like Paul, their favorite food was pancakes. But the cook only had one small griddle. He couldn't make enough pancakes for everyone to eat. So one day, Paul dug some metal out of a mountain and made a griddle as big as a lake. He gave the griddle to the cook. "This griddle is perfect," said the cook. The cook's helpers put pieces of butter on their feet and skated around the griddle. The cook made hundreds of pancakes. The lumberjacks and Babe ate pancakes until they couldn't eat any more.
Wow.
Track 6.
That's the end of our story. So, according to you, what do you think? Is this text fiction or non-fiction? Huh? So, is it fiction or non-fiction? So let's go back to our question. Let's check question page 129. First of all, we have to check this story is fiction. Yeah? Let's see for the example clue. Artwork showed that Paul is much bigger than a real human. Okay? Then Paul does many things which are impossible for a real person. For example, he eats enormous quantities of food. He cries so loudly that the house shakes, and he can cut down a tree with one swing of his axe. Can you do that? No. The frogs wear earmuffs. Really? Impossible event, for example, an ox turned blue, and Paul and Babe straighten the river. The griddle is as big as a lake. Wow. So, I will prepare another video for part 3, which we are going to answer the questions.